What's up, y'all? I hope you're all doing well and find yourself in great spirits. Today, I want to talk about being willing to peek in cages, to hear screams, to see other people suffering. J.K. Rowling gave a speech at Harvard. It was a commencement speech where she talks about these things and having the power to imagine yourself in someone else's shoes. You know, it's a gift if you're human to have an imagination, because animals don't have imaginations that I know of. And she says that some people choose not to see anything that doesn't affect them directly. If someone's suffering and they don't see it, they don't have to worry about it. Their life can keep going. And she says that those people might actually see more monsters than the people who are willing to look. And that speech is kind of ringing out in my mind because, you know, I belong to some social media groups that are geographic in nature and community based. And it's like the whole community, not just one ethnicity or another, because it's geography based. And a lot of the time, people post really heartbreaking stories of pet abandonment or pet abuse. And I've been around people who were pretty callous and expected things from their dogs, and if they didn't have them, you know, they would get rid of them. Other people, I think, might love their dogs, but they get old and they can't afford to keep them, so they turn them loose thinking it beats having them put down. But then I see these dogs get posted with matted fur and what seems to be sadness in their eyes. You know, they're emaciated. You can see their ribs. Some of them are in pretty bad condition. Some still look happy and goofy and plump. And those are the ones you hope can get reunited right away. And when you see these pictures and how these dogs were found, you know, that some were hit by a car and no one stopped to help them, and like, it's really, really sad. And a lot of people in the comments, and I might thinking like, man, where's the humanity? What kind of person can do this? I'm no angel. You know, I've been around and I've been around people who can be pretty vicious towards people. So being vicious towards animals is probably much easier for them. And so in all this, like, suffering and misery for these dogs, and, you know, heartbreak over, like, you want to help them, you don't want them to suffer. Maybe you don't have the means or the time to help them all. And then there's this lady that stands out. And she's not the only one, but this lady, Cindy. You know, I see her often. I don't know her. I've never met her. I don't think I've ever even talked to her. Says, where's the dog at? If someone's post a picture of it hurt. And she'll go get it. And post a picture and say, I took it to the vet. It's chipped, or it's at the shelter now, or I'm fostering it because the owners have contacted me and they're going to help. You know, she goes to where these animals are suffering and tries to get them back home or into a new home. And when people say they rescue animals, because I know people who rescued animals like that, you don't think much of it. Like, oh, that's cool. You know, these are folks who have the luxury to feed an extra mouth. But when you hear the backstory, how animals were like just left to fend, people moved away, left the animal in the backyard, no food or water. You know, it's crying and crying, and that's what makes someone come look, and they find it about to die because it was just abandoned. Stories like that. It seems like the sadder the story, the more heartbreak I experience because of what happened to this animal, the more of a hero Cindy is, and the others like her who go help and rescue these dogs. The nobility of her actions and the sacrificing of her time and money and resources to rescue animals that really can't do nothing back for her. You know, it's not like an animal is gonna go be Spuds McKenzie and then break her off, you know, all the Budweiser she could drink or dividends on whatever the commercials make. You know, they're not gonna do nothing back for her. And yet, when I see these sad stories, my heart breaks. And then I see her comment and say, "Here, I'm gonna come get it, and I'll take care of it until I can find its home." Like it lightens my load when I see her say and do that. And I try to help in other ways. You know, I used to donate monthly to the SPCA, but I think I might like cut some of that back and then just reach out to Cindy and be like, "Hey man, here's something for like dog food or whatever you need to keep doing what you're doing," because I admire and respect it. And my admiration and respect for you grew as my appreciation for the suffering of these animals grew. Like I couldn't have one see how amazing she is without seeing how much suffering is happening. And so it restores my faith in humanity. And again, it goes back to being willing to look at the suffering and be willing to be sad over it. In doing that, I can also see, you know, angels on earth, if you will, who come and bless these suffering sentient beings. So that's my video. Much prop to her and everyone else that rescues animals. On a whole separate note, and a sad one, I think, you know, it might be helpful to look into what you can do to help the people in Maui. You know, it was a tropical paradise that burnt down. Like 80 people have died in those fires. And it's a lot of suffering for them. So, you know, if nothing else, maybe just say a prayer for them. Have a good one. Much love.